she had returned the card that I had given her, and I opened it, and on the back she had written, "I hate you."
There is something that you've experienced in your intimate life that has shaped the way that you think of intimacy going forward. So I'd love to learn what that lesson is and how you came to learn it.
Well, there's so many lessons I can think of, but one that comes to mind, and one that I think is really related to the movie and to the character I play in the movie. There were times in my life where I felt like I had to always be earning the affection or the time of another person. And they're often presented as me like trying to make everything okay and always concerned about like, well, what are you feeling? What's going on with you? And trying to like, you know, in a somewhat like what can be seen as like a manipulative way, I think trying to like get inside of the other person's experience so that I can like control the experience that we're having together, which really was a way I think of me trying to make myself feel safe in the relationship. When I was very young, I remember one of my first little crushes when I was a kid was on this girl in my 4th grade class. And it was Valentine's Day, and I remember our teacher had given us this assignment to go, and get Valentine's cards and bring them in for our classmates. And so my mom took me to Walmart and we bought one of those those big perforated sheets of Valentine's cards that are like 8 on a page. And,
Yes.
And it said, Happy Valentine's Day, I love you, to blank, from blank, and you write the name in. Anyway, we did that. And I remember, at the beginning of the class, we all like filled out our cards and passed them out to our classmates. And at the end of the day, we got to open our cards and, see what our classmates said about us. And I noticed that the one that I had given to this, young girl who I had what I guess was the beginnings of a crush on, although it was 4th grade. And so I don't really know that I even knew what that meant. But, I felt an affection for her. And she had returned the card that I had given her. And I opened it and looked at it. And of course, on the front, it said, "Happy Valentine's Day, I love you too." Her name, from André. And on the back, she had written, "I hate you." I guess you can, yeah. And I remember getting that card and feeling so much, confusion. But then I think what came in was the sense of shame. Like I felt, man, there must be, I don't know what that means exactly, but I know that means there must be something wrong with me, or else I've done something so wrong, by expressing this, that I deserve some kind of punishment. And I think for a long time, I kept that card. I hid it in my little sock drawer, and I kept it with me for a long time. And I think in a lot of ways that that experience is one that I've kind of been trying to avoid happening again in relationships. And so what that thing created is this sense of I gotta be perfect. I can't let them see anything wrong with me. I gotta have the right answer all the time. I gotta always know what they're feeling so that I, if there's some kind of card coming for me, I need to know so I can brace myself for it, and I think it really was it created the sense of always trying to be my best for other people instead of just being myself.
If I could have mapped my internal process of listening to that story, it would have looked like a heartbeat, because it was making me cry even reflecting on the idea of Valentine's Day and giving a card to everybody. How beautiful it is that now it's, as you get older, it becomes something to gatekeep. It becomes something performative. Not just are you loved, but how much are you loved? What value of gift do you get that illustrates how much your partner values you? And that becomes a public display. And then people who don't get anything. And so I was reflecting on being younger and everybody getting a Valentine's Day card indiscriminately and how beautiful it is. Because even when you said, your mom bought those perforated cards and it said, to so-and-so, I love you. And I was like, oh, that's a very, that's a bold choice of words for a 4th grader to be issuing out to everybody. But then it's not. It's actually the most true words that you can issue out. So that was my first reflection piece. And then to hear the story of how that was twisted and manipulated, and how a beautiful, earnest act that had a special meaning for this one particular person came back in a hate crime. Which, did you process it as such? Did you tell a teacher? Did you tell your mom? How did you
No, I didn't tell anybody. Yeah. In fact, I think I had almost forgotten about it until maybe I don't know 5 or 6 years ago. I had like locked it away somewhere, and then it came up as I was yeah dealing with like this situation, this like romantic relationship that I had been in a number of years ago, and it in therapy like emerged, and I was like, wow, I almost had forgotten about that.
Why?
I don't know. I guess, but why had I forgotten about it? You mean?
No, I mean, I guess there's not an answer to that question, but I don't know. That's such a terrible experience to go through and to go through alone and to not have any accountability to the other person. I understand like kind of the shame and an embarrassment, and I don't know, it just makes me feel so heartbroken. Um, that makes me feel so heartbroken for little you. And I know that's not your goal with sharing that.
Thinking back on it, man, I actually feel heartbroken for her too, because that's something that somebody told her, that somebody taught in her life, taught her, that that's how she's supposed to feel about people who look like me.